my thoughts be bloody or nothing worth. Hey everyone, so welcome to my Hamlet video. I'm so excited to get to make this and get to talk about one of my all-time favorite plays ever, because I love Hamlet, and I think all of you guys know that I love Hamlet, so I figured that we would just make a little discussion video, and I totally want like some interaction down in the comments. I would love to hear what you guys think about Hamlet and what you guys think about what I have to say in this video, and I'm super nervous about it, so let's just get right on into talking about my all-time favorite play. The readiness is all. So obviously Hamlet is the main character of this play, and I absolutely love him to death. He is just my very favorite. I love him so much. I just think about him all the time, and all of his quotes are amazing. And I just want to get one thing straight, that he is not actually crazy. He is putting on an antic disposition, and he is playing within a play. So he is not actually crazy. I really don't like it when people characterize him as crazy. And I just don't understand where they get that from. Like, he never actually turns crazy. And that's never something that happens within the play. I really honestly don't believe that. I think that there could possibly be made cases, obviously, for just about anything in this play. You could make a case saying one way or the other. But personally, for me, I don't ever think that he loses his sanity. I think that he is very clear-minded throughout the entire thing, or else it just wouldn't work. "You cannot, sir, take from me anything that I will more willingly part withal. Except my life. Except my life. Except my life." So we got that out of the way, that little misconception. We're gonna go on to Hamlet and Horatio because they are my favorite BFF duo ever. And I think that they could be played a billion different ways. And one of my favorite ways that they're played sometimes is them just being in some sort of romantic relationship together. I just think that that's so sweet. And I think there's a lot of ways that you can back that up because, you know, you see Hamlet and he is referring to Horatio with you pronouns at first, and then throughout the play it turns to thee and thou, and that is actually a sign of, you know, you is formal and then thee is informal. So it's kind of a sign of them being really, really close. I think that could also be kind of romantic involvement, and I really love that because I feel like Hamlet and Horatio are so close, and I love Horatio. He is my little baby. I love him so much. He is so pure and too good for this world and so smart, and just like, he just has so much sense, and I just love him for that. And he's so like, okay, this is true, this is, you know, and where Hamlet is so much more kind of all over the place and just like very creative, and I don't know, I feel like they're so similar, but they're also so different, which I love about them. And I love as how like the play progresses. Hamlet is starting off trusting the audience, you know, telling the audience things and confiding in them, and then as the play goes on and as he realizes that no one's really understanding what he's saying, no one's going to understand what he's saying no matter how hard he tries, he starts to kind of confide into Horatio, and I just love that. I love at the end scene, just when they're dead, when everyone's dead except for Horatio, and Hamlet just really, he talks to him, he doesn't talk to the audience really. And I just love when Hamlet, when he's dying and he says, "I am dead, Horatio." Like, that literally gets my heart so much. And then when Horatio is like, "Now cracks a noble heart, good night, sweet prince, and flights of angels sing thee to thy rest." And I love that so much, the sweet prince, I just love that so much. And it just shows how much he cares about Hamlet, how much he thinks of him, and how close that they are. And I love the idea of Hamlet and Horatio being romantically involved together, and I think that's so sweet. I don't know, let me know what you guys think. "Absent thee from felicity while, and in this harsh world draw thy breath in pain." So I kind of forgot to show you guys, but these are my two copies of Hamlet. I have another copy somewhere around the house. I don't know where it went. I had it before we moved and I had it after we moved, but I don't know where it went. So this is the Folgers edition. This is kind of the most popular edition. It's probably my favorite one because it just goes so in depth into everything, and I actually really like the notes that they have on the sides because they're actually kind of helpful, and I just think that this is probably the best edition. And then we go into this one that I got for Christmas just because I like the cover. It's an Amazon Classics edition, and it doesn't have anything. It has no like explanation on the side, no definitions or anything, so it's literally just the play, which I do enjoy as well, just for, you know, quotes and stuff like that. But definitely the Folgers edition is probably my favorite. And speaking of editions of this play, and speaking of variations, I was looking, I was watching like clips of like the movies, just like the Mel Gibson movie versus the Kenneth Branagh movie, which is like always divisive, and you know, who likes that one, who likes that one. I personally don't like Mel Gibson as a person, but I prefer that version over the Kenneth Branagh version, which is kind of like an unpopular opinion. And the first time I actually watched the movie was the Kenneth Branagh version, and that was my AP Literature teacher's favorite version. She swore by it. She was like, the Mel Gibson one is not good. And I kind of believed her for a little while until I saw the Mel Gibson version, and I was just like, what? This is just exactly how I picture Hamlet. He portrays Hamlet so well. He portrays him vulnerable and sensitive and introspective, and I really appreciate that, because I feel like Kenneth Branagh plays him a little bit more hard and a little bit more like crazy and a little more like, he just doesn't seem as accessible as Mel Gibson's Hamlet. And speaking of amazing performances from that movie, I absolutely love the Get Thee to a Nunnery scene and the way that they just kind of split that up a little bit in the Mel Gibson version. I mean, you have to go watch these scenes. I will leave them linked down below because they are on YouTube, and holy moly, they're amazing. Like, I just love the way that the Get Thee to a Nunnery scene is used as more of a warning rather than a misogynist rant, because I feel like in the Kenneth Branagh version, he's kind of like just playing it straight, playing it like misogyny, and I get that he does kind of know that they're being listened to, but I still feel like it wasn't as empathetic and it wasn't as like soft as the Mel Gibson version, because there's so many things, just like when in the Mel Gibson version, the Get Thee to a Nunnery scene is split in two. So there's like kind of the first half in one scene and then the second half in another scene. And so I like the way that it's played, because it's kind of played as the eyes of Elsinore are watching, and you know, everyone's listening into this conversation, everyone's gonna know what happens. So he kind of has to choose his words wisely and choose which ones he's going to project and, you know, scream out so everyone can hear them, and then the lines that he does very softly. So I really love in the Mel Gibson version when he's like, I did love you once. And it's like it's almost a whisper that I loved you once. And then she says, you made me believe so. And and then just the look on his face. I love the way that that's played, because it's so true. And it kind of gives them a deeper connection, a deeper like relationship together. And I love that Ophelia-Hamlet relationship. And I want it to be more pure than just like hatred and then anger, misogyny and stuff like that, how it's usually played. And no thanks, keep it away from me, thanks, I don't want the misogyny in my Hamlet. And then I love how he like just kind of like pauses after she says, you did love me, like you made me believe so. And then he's just like, you should not have believed me. Like, I just love that. I never loved you, you know, that you know, he's really yelling it for Polonius and the king, because he just saw them walking away. He just saw them hiding, basically, and he knows that they're there. It's not like a secret or anything. And so I just love that the eyes of Elsinore are watching. Like, you have to like keep that in mind the entire time, because Hamlet is always playing, and like there are just little glimpses of him like being very, very honest, very earnest. And I love the way that they split that scene in that movie, because you get to the Get Thee to a Nunnery and they put that after the play, which I think is so effective. Like, I don't know why more people don't do this. Like, I get wanting to be like a purist and like do verbatim, you know, performances of this play. I get that, I totally do, but I do love the way that it's split up, because after the play, after it's obvious that Claudius is the guy that killed his dad, it just, and everything kind of like goes like, you know, oh my gosh, everyone's like running around because like the king's like in distress and whatever. And I love that Hamlet goes to Ophelia and, you know, very tenderly tells her, get thee to a nunnery. And he says, all of us are liars, believe none of us, we're all errant knaves. And he warns her that things are going to go down and she needs to get out of there. And that, you know, that's why I love the get thee to a nunnery scene, because it's just like, I love reading it as a warning, as that he cares so much about Ophelia that he needs to tell her to get out of there before shit hits the fan. Because shit does hit the fan, and poor Ophelia gets a lot of the brunt end of it. And I feel so bad for her. And it's so sad when he comes back and he realizes that she didn't go anywhere and that she's dead. And that's just so sad, because he really does feel that. And it's so obvious the way that he's like, you know, 20,000 brothers couldn't feel the way I feel about her death, and couldn't have loved her more, and couldn't feel so horrible about this. And it's just so sad. And I just like, oh my god, my Hamlet. Oh, like, and I love Ophelia so much. I feel like this is gonna be a much longer video than I anticipated, but I love Ophelia. She's just one of my favorite characters of all time. I love the way that Helena Bonham Carter plays her in the Mel Gibson version of Hamlet, the Franco Zeffirelli version, and I just love the way that she plays her, because I feel like other Ophelias are kind of played a little too soft for my taste, and I feel like her dialogue is so much more intelligent and snarky than it's given credit for. And I love the way that Helena Bonham Carter just like gives her that attitude, that kind of like, she is almost kind of like a Hamlet in that movie version, because she's just kind of like, she has almost not an antic disposition, she's just kind of like cloudy a little bit, you know, little down. But she, like, you could tell why they liked each other. It was very clear their personalities match up very well in that movie, and you could definitely tell why they liked each other. And I just love Ophelia. I wrote like an 11-page paper on her once. I absolutely love her to death. And I think that she's just one of the most amazing characters. I will say that I do not think that she accidentally killed herself. I think that she literally did kill herself. I do believe that Ophelia killed herself. I really don't believe any other way that happened. I've heard like other ideas of maybe Gertrude killed her and she's just trying to cover it up. I don't know. I absolutely love Ophelia, but I do feel like her madness towards the end definitely affected her, and I think that she drowned herself willingly. I think she knew what she was doing. I don't think she was that far gone, and I just don't think that she could handle it anymore, especially from the dialogue before her death scene. It's very clear that she just doesn't feel like she has anything to live for anymore, especially with the man that she loved just killed her father. Her father's dead. Her brother is like not really like connecting with her anymore. He's not really like, you know, he kind of distances himself from her, and I feel like she is just like, I'm all alone. And I can totally understand that, because, you know, in that kind of time period, you know, someone like her, who is she going to depend on? What's going to happen? Like, she can't just go and marry Hamlet now. Hamlet just killed her dad. So what is she going to do? So I can totally see how she would have drowned herself willingly instead of the unwilling way that Gertrude explains it as. So yeah, this video is getting really long. I definitely have more things to talk about, so I think there will be a part 2, and I didn't really get into everything I wanted to talk about, and so I'm really sad. So I'm definitely going to do a part 2 of this at some point, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I'm definitely going to leave some links down below to a few little Hamlet things that you can go check out, and some blogs that I like, some posts that I like. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and leave some of your own like little Hamlet opinions and stuff like that down below, because I really want to hear them. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye! There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophies.